Hi friends, uh, this is Mahendra. Now let's start the step-by-step installation of 2012 SQL Server. So as we know, just first of all, I'm mapping my media SQL Server 2012 okay, to my present disk. Now here I'm going to run the setup process. So this is my media. So I'm starting setup. I'm just running it as an administrator. So now it's starting SQL Server 2012 installation. So there is a big change in the installation of 2005 and 2008 and 2012 SQL Server. Actually, before 2008, in 2005, we don't have this installation center. From 2008 onwards, Microsoft introduced one of the best feature installation. So that is installation center. So from installation center, we can run installation. So this is the installation center. This is the feature added in 2008 SQL Server. So here we can observe some of the tabs here: planning, installation, maintenance, tools, resources, advanced options. So totally we have 7 options. So these are online resources. Okay, whenever we need to upgrade, we can install Upgrade Advisor by using this plan. So next we have installation center. So this is a SQL Server standalone instance. This is SQL Server failover cluster installation, and so these are adding a node. So we can upgrade from 5.8 to 2012, and we have so many options here. So these are repairing options, and we have some of the tools. And by using these tools, we can before installing the SQL Server, we can check the configuration compatibility, and we have online resources. So regarding the installations and what are the requirements of SQL Server, we can check by using these resources, and we have some of the advanced options, and we have some other options. So there, we can select here for 32-bit or 64-bit. So mine is 64-bit, so that by default it selected as 64. So now our agenda is step-by-step installation of 2012 SQL Server. So I'm going for installation, and I'm going for SQL Server standalone installation. Okay. Now let's see what are the steps involved in installing SQL Server 2012. As soon as I press on SQL Server option, so it opens. So installation is started. So first of all, the SQL Server installed the setup support files. Okay. So where these files are utilized for installing this 2012 SQL Server. So as we know, there are compatibility levels. One is hardware requirements, and as well as the software requirements. So this first step involves checking of those two hardware and software requirements. So now this will check setup support rules. Means to set up the SQL Server 2012. So what are the things required? So first step here we say we should have administrator rights at the Windows level, and so we have to have set up account privileges, and so restarting of the computer is already done. WMI services means Windows Management Information Services should be uh, in the system for SQL Server 2012 installation to happen. Now it will check for additional steps. It's consistency validation with the registry keys. Means it will check. So if you have installed SQL 2005 or 2008 R2, so it will check for consistency keys in the registry level. Okay. So and it will check for the installation media paths. So whether if it is there, it will follow take that path, or if it is not there, it will create a new path. So next, it will check the compatibility, and we should have this is the very important step. So we should have .NET 2.0 as well as .NET 3.5 for this SQL Server 2012. Okay. Now this will so as soon as I click on OK, so this will install setup support files. Okay. So after installing the setup support file, so actually the actual installation starts in SQL Server 2012. Actual installation starts. So now here we can go for as per our requirement. We can select database engine, so analysis services, full text search. We can so we have our main agenda is to install database engine, so where we can maintain. So that is our area, right? So now it's actual installation of SQL Server 2012 started. So first, before going for this installation, so we have some prerequisites like we should have service accounts. So service accounts we can create on local service accounts, and we can create on domain level service accounts. So as per my recommendation, so we can it's better to go for domain level service accounts. Okay, to have mm, compatibility with the domain services, right? Because this computer is participating in domain level, so it's better to have a, domain level service account, right? So as soon as the installation start, it will check for product updates. Now this computer has no internet connectivity, so that I'm skipping this checking for product updates. So if this tick mark is ticked, then it will check for product updates online. Okay, it will connect to Microsoft um, online website, and it will check for recent updates like service packs. So and all it will check out. Okay, so now I'm clicking next. So this step will install this setup support files. So setup support files will help us in installing SQL Server setup files. So we can say this SQL installation, these setup files are um, temporary thing, so which we put on the system. Like whenever we install something on Windows, so temporarily it will go and be there in a temporary path. As we all know, it will go in the temporary folder. So from the temporary folder, it will create. So when the actual installation completed, then these files are automatically will be removed. Right? So the setup support files installation is going on. So meanwhile, we can go for one point. Uh, so this is a standalone instance. Actually, we can install an SQL Server instance as standalone instance as well as a clustered instance. Okay, standalone instance means directly we are putting the SQL Server 2012 instance on a system and in a PC. Okay, so on Windows servers we are directly putting. But whereas in the clustered instance, we are creating a Windows cluster, okay? And then we are putting the SQL Server on the cluster so that it works fine even on one computer or two computers. So it takes some time to install the setup system, right? Okay. Now we can see one main window, so which is the installation window. So in the background, this installation is getting processed. So by Windows operating system. So we go in detail what happens while installing from step 1 to step 9. So actually they involve 10 steps of 10 steps to complete the installation. So we go one by one. So whenever we need to explain to any of our friends, and whenever in interviews they ask so what are the steps involved in the installation of an instance like 2012? So can you explain? If they ask, then we need to go ahead and explain. So this total process. So this SQL Server installation process is taking some of the time. Sometimes, so this the time it takes for installation others so processing it depends upon the RAM, how much I allotted, and its amount of the processor I utilize for this installation. So all these factors matters a lot to make this installation happen, right? So this is the installation window, so where we configure all the features. So here we can see totally 11 steps involved along with the completion step. So here first it will check for setup support rules. Okay. So here, so it will checks for as a first step Fusion Activity Template Library, ATL library, okay, which will help in installing these files, which helps in copying these DLL files. So it will check for any previous versions are there, 2008 business bits, and it will check for uh, all these steps like computer is in domain or whether it is in domain or it will check for .NET application, and it will check for whether it's this system is 64-bit or So totally it is checking for hardware and software compatibilities. Okay. So next I'm clicking next, and here we need to mm, provide our product key, so which is a purchased license from Microsoft. Okay. So here we can, so at the time of first release, we can go for evaluation copy. So as well as Express edition, which are free from Microsoft. So evaluation edition will expire in 180 days, and Express is the free edition, so which as an individual we can use it for testing. So next, this is second. So third step is the license terms. I'm clicking next. Okay. So it will ask for so accepting license account. I'm clicking on next. Okay. So here there will be an option sending the features. What are the features we are using to Microsoft? So we need to unclick it. So I'm going for next. So here fourth step is the setup role. Okay. Here we have three options like SQL Server feature installation and SQL Server pivot or pivot or SharePoint. Right now, as per my knowledge, I don't have experience with the SharePoint, so I'm I'm a very good knowledge person in this SQL Server feature, SQL Server installation, so that I'm going for the first one. So why? Because we need to install this SQL Server, so means database engine. So next, I'm clicking for the next. Okay. So in the next step, I'm going to select. So what are the features I need to have in the system? Okay. So these are all the features. Okay. If you can observe here, so we have instance features as well as the shared features. Okay. So instance features, these are belong to the instance whatever right now I am installing. Okay. So these shared features means in one Windows server it may contain one instance or multiple instances. Okay. These are shared features. Okay. So like we should have a database engine services. Okay, so as per our environment, if we require this server replication, full text and data quality services, analysis services, reporting services, you can go for. So right now I'm selecting these two services. Okay, so here shared features, you can we should, if we have a 2005 instance in our um, Windows Server, and if we need to configure any log shipping, so those things we need to select client tool connectivity. So why? Because we need to select this feature to support backups or any features like log shipping and backup and restore. We should have this client tool connectivity. Okay, then only those features will work. Okay. So I'm selling collecting client tools backward compatibility. Okay, so it is from my, this helps to add features whenever the client is connecting to the systems. Okay, so we should have management tools. Okay, so management tools is SMS SQL Server Management Studio. So where we connect to our instance and where we configure our total instances, right? Okay, and these are shared features directory. Okay, I'm going for the next. So again, this will check for installation rules, means whatever the features we selected, whether these are suitable to put on this Windows OS or not. So it will check for this thing. So here the system will list out all the features we have selected, and it will check for. So these are the two things: Visual Studio 2010 instances requirement update and the Microsoft .NET Framework. It will check for these two things. Then I'm going for the next. This is an instance configuration. So I can go for here we can have instance. It can be a default instance, a named instance. For any Windows, only one default instance is possible, and um, some of the named instances we can put. So here we need to follow naming rules. Okay, it should not contain more than 16 characters, and it should not start with special characters. Okay, by keeping all these things in my mind. Okay, so I am putting this MS SQL Server. It's a default name which the system gives for a default instance. Okay, so previously there are instances in my system. It will show all the instances here. So I'm clicking for next. Here we can change the root directory if we need to place this directory in some other drive. So other than C drive, we can change the directory. I'm going for the next, and it will check for disk requirement. Means how much disk space is required for the features we have selected to put on the system. So here it will show detailed report for the features, what are the how much space is required. So for shared directory, so 981 MB is required, and instance directory 128 MB, almost 1.3 GB is required. So I'm going for the next. So next step is server configuration. So here comes the concept of service account. And here we need to provide a service account, okay, so that this will run. So whatever the actions, whatever the works we do in Windows level, okay, it will be done by service accounts. Okay, so here so we have agent, and we have this database in here. Okay, so these are local service accounts. If we need to put this domain level service account, you just clear it and provide your service account along with the domain name. Okay, so here in my computer the domain name is Sri. Okay, and service accounts which I created is equal to inst1. Okay, so yes, with the naming convention, the service account. Okay, so this is AGT is my extension, and I need to provide the password here. Okay, whatever the password we put here, and so by using this password, this credential, these accounts, service account will start these services. Like, okay, here we can mention startup types. Okay, so what does startup type means? So as soon as my system as Windows starts, the service should start automatically. Okay, or else if it is manual means, so I need to go manually and start whether this should start automatically or manually. We can mention here at the startup. Okay, so never select this disable. Okay, so disable means later on we can start it. Okay, and go for the next. Okay, so here in the next step, so I can um, go for database engine configuration. So if you can observe in the starting, there is no this database engine configuration. Okay, in the feature selection we have selected this database engine configuration. That's why it's changing. Okay, so previously there are only 10 to 11 tabs. Okay, So here we can change like server configuration we can make it. So it's authentication mode. It's a Windows level right now I'm using. Okay. So the data directories, if I need to make maintain separate drives for these directories like TMTP, we need to maintain separately, or else the data files as well as log files. Okay, we can change the path here. Okay, so file system is one of the Windows option. Okay, here is one of the important aspect is we need to add accounts, means for which people this instance is accessible. Okay, in my system I'm adding for debating. Okay, so why? Because here it's better to add a group name. Okay, why? Because whenever the group contains users, whenever the one person left also, even other person, okay, he can access the instance, and he can make changes whatever they require. So I'm going for I'm going for next. Okay, here we can set whether something goes wrong. Okay, we can it will send a error report. Okay, so here um, we have an option to send these errors, and by collecting these errors while we working, and as well as the installation, okay, to Microsoft. So better not to check this one. Okay, so installation configuration will check these four checks. Okay, so whether the instance is clustered and non-clustered. Okay, so language installation. Okay, it will check for architecture installation. So fact 32 pages. It will check for all the um, settings. Okay, so there is a total summary. So if you can observe here, so I will give you a small information about so this summary. Okay, so it will show the information for all the features we have selected. So it will show in the summary. Okay, it will show edition, what are the edition we are installing right now. Okay, it's enterprise edition, and it's installation, and it will first it will check for prerequisites. I mean, in the prerequisites, so we should have already installed these things: .NET Framework as well as PowerShell 2.0, also .NET Framework. Okay, so next, general configuration it will check for means database, Indian services, and what should be the instant configuration. Okay, so I can say this setting it contains a list of what are the features we have selected, and their configuration settings, right? Okay, so usage report we didn't select to send to Microsoft. That's why it's showing false. Okay. So product table update we didn't include any product updates. Okay, so now I'm going for instance configuration. So this will show instance directories list, and each and everything. So whatever we have settings we have selected by clicking next, next, next. Okay, so uh, it will show. Okay, fine. So now our instance is ready to get installed. Okay, whenever so if I click next, okay, so the Windows will start installation of the SQL Server, and progress installation progress will be shown, and finally it will complete here. Okay, so if something goes wrong after while installation or after installation, so we can go and check those things in. It will create temporarily log, means we know each and everything in Windows, and as well as the SQL Server follows while concept, right? Ahead login. Okay, by using that concept, so we can, if something goes wrong, we can check out in the root directory. So program files. So there is already created Microsoft SQL Server, and here we are putting on 110. Okay, so we can go for setup booster, and we have logs here. Okay, so whatever the selected are so whatever things I did right now, whether installation or any some changes, okay, it will be tracked by all these things. Means that, it will contain the total information. Here configuration file we can observe here. So this configuration file is nothing but the list of whatever the features I have shown here. Okay, So this is configuration file. Okay, so if I go ahead and install, so it will the SQL Server will get installed successfully. Okay, so these are the total steps involved in this thing. Okay, so please go ahead and have a look twice or thrice. Okay, you can remember it easily. Okay, so thanks for watching my video. Okay, so this is Balu Mahendra. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.